Hello everyone. Here I am starting at another session in engineering mechanics subject. In this subject, we have completed two chapters of principles of mechanics and force systems, and also the chapter of beams and supports. Now, in the current chapter, we are dealing with centroids. We have done some problems in centroids. We have defined what is a centroid, how we get centroids, all the things we have dealt in our earlier classes, in our earlier session. So now let us have a quick recap of what we have done in centroids. So centroids, this concept has emerged from the concept of center of gravity. That is, center of gravity is the point through which the entire weight of a body is assumed to be acting. That is, when all weights of, if we divide that body into several parts, if all those weights are taken and if their resultant is found out, that resultant passes through a particular point. That point we call it as center of gravity. It is for solid bodies. Since weights can be reduced to areas by knowing the unit weights and uniform thickness, then weights can be represented as areas. That is, weight is unit weight into volume. Since unit weight is throughout is constant, we can consider it as 1 or they get cancelled. So if thickness is also uniform, then our formula, that is a into x becomes sigma ax, or x is equal to sigma ax by sigma a, and y is equal to sigma ay by sigma a, where ay and ax are moment of areas of those particular components about some reference axis, reference line. Similarly, since our interest is in finding the point through which the area is assumed to be acting, instead of weight, now the weight is reduced to area. So our interest is to find the point where the centroid axis, or the where the entire area is assumed to be acting. So we have seen how the areas of, how the centroids are found out by integration. We have seen, we have taken a rectangular lamina and we have taken a small strip of b into dy area, and we have multiplied that area into y. Similarly, we have added such all areas, that is sigma b into dy, limits b dy is area into y is moment of area, as limits from 0 to h, we get y bar is equal to h by 3, d by 2. Here it is d, therefore we have taken d by 2 y bar. Similarly, if we take in the vertical axis, vertical strip of width dx at a distance of x, then we will get x bar is equal to b by 2. We have seen also what is symmetry, line of symmetry. A line of symmetry is a line or axis which divides the body into two equal halves. So whenever there is a symmetrical axis, then we can assume that the centroid lies on that symmetrical axis. We have taken a case of angle where there is no symmetrical axis, so the centroid is lying somewhere at unknown place. That is, we have to find x and y, that is the centroidal distance of both. Here, in case of T section, the vertical axis is dividing the T section into two equal halves. Therefore, the centroid x will be on that vertical axis. That is, we know what is the distance of x. That is, it will be b by 2. And similarly, in case of a rectangle, there are two symmetrical axes. That is, one vertical symmetrical axis which is dividing the body into two equal halves in vertical plane, and also in the horizontal plane also. Along the horizontal plane, it is dividing the body into two equal halves. Therefore, here the point of where the two symmetrical axes meet, that it should be automatically the point of the centroid. Therefore, whenever there is a symmetrical axis, then we can say that there will be the centroid on that line. We have seen some example problems on different rectangles combination, that is its L angle or angle, T section, symmetrical I section, C section, unsymmetrical C section, and so on. So here we have seen the symmetrical I section simply to demonstrate that, but without actually analyzing the problem or calculating the values, we can simply by observation we can say that since there are two symmetrical axes which are dividing the I section into vertically into two C sections and horizontally into two T sections, symmetrical T sections. Therefore, there are two symmetrical axes. They are meeting at a point at b by 2 and d by 2. Therefore, we demonstrated for this b is equal to 60 and h is equal to d is equal to 100. We got 30 and 50 as centroid of the I section. And we have also demonstrated not only by adding the areas, that is, if we want the x or x bar, the centroidal distance, we have to say sigma ax by sigma a. Sigma ax is algebraic sum of moment of areas. That is, when the area can be either positive or negative. That is why we say when sigma ax, we can also mean that it is a1 plus a2, a1x1 plus a2x1 or a1x1 minus a2x2, depending upon whether there is that area or not. So to demonstrate that, we have taken a full square and we have removed a small square from one corner, and we have seen what is the effect, how to sum algebraically. That is, we have taken the entire area is a1 and small 50 by 50 area is a2. We have removed a1 minus a2, then we got the centroid like this. That is at 95 and 95. If it would have been full square, it would have been 100 by 100 and 100. Now it has become 90 and 90. That is 95 and 95 in along the horizontal axis and vertical axis from the left bottom corner. That is, we are taking it as origin. Now, earlier we have seen how the centroid of a triangle is found out. Similar to our rectangle, we can take a strip of length b1. If the base is b, they are parallel. By properties of similar triangle, b1 will be equal to b by h into h minus y. That is the properties of triangle. So the moment of area will be b1 into dy. That is b into h minus y by h into y dy. Therefore, area of this elemental strip is b1 dy. That is b into 1 minus y by h into dy. The area of the entire triangle is bh by 2. So, if such strips are integrated and equated to the entire area into unknown y bar, then we get y bar is equal to h by 3. Since in this figure there is no vertical axis is not vertical, we cannot find h by 3. That is, h by 3 is not its centroid. Only it is b by 3 and not h by 3. We have to find out where it will lie. To demonstrate that concept, let us take examples of three triangles which are like this. That is, one triangle, all the triangles have base standing on the base, and first triangle is some triangle which is neither isosceles nor right angled. It is some triangle, some random triangle having different angles. So its base is B, its height is H. Then the centroid, we know that when the base is along the x-axis, the centroid lies at h by 3. That is, y bar will be h by 3. But x bar we have to find out, because we do not have any ready-made formula for that. We should work out and find out the centroid. But for a right angle triangle which have the both bases, that is, it has two vertically perpendicular axis, that is, along x-axis one base is parallel, the other y-axis the other base is parallel. So the centroid will lie at h by 3 and b by 3. That is, b by 3 in x-axis and h by 3 along the y-axis. Here, in case of an isosceles triangle which has base parallel to x-axis or standing on x-axis, then since there is a symmetrical axis which is dividing the isosceles triangle into two equal halves, therefore the centroid should lie on the y-axis. That is why it is the x will be equal to b by 2 and y will be equal to h by 3. So here the observation, in the case 1, the triangle rests on its base parallel to x-axis. The centroid lies on the x-axis, an axis parallel to x-axis. Hence y is equal to h by 3 and x is unknown. We have to find out by analytical method, because for the same height there can be different triangles. So directly we cannot find the x by 3. That is the x bar. X bar is not b by 3. Only because the base is parallel, the h on the height we can say it is h by 3. Y bar is h by 3, but x bar we cannot say. Similarly, the second is right angle triangle. It has two sides parallel to x-axis and y-axis respectively. Therefore, the x bar will be b by 3 and y bar will be h by 3. And in the third case, the triangle is on the base. It is an isosceles triangle. So there is an axis which is cutting which is bisecting it. Therefore, the x bar lies on the axis of symmetry. So it is b by 2. Similarly, the y bar lies on, because the base is parallel to x-axis, then y bar is equal to h by 3. So let us see some small examples to solve these types of problem. So in this case, locate the centroid of a given right angle triangle whose base is 60 mm, height is 45 mm. We know for right angle triangle, that is, x and y lie at b by 3 and h by 3. That is, one third of the base from the base, one third from the base and one third from the other base. If we consider the vertical axis as base, it will be h by 3. If the horizontal axis as base, then it will be h by 3 and b by 3. So x is b by 3 and y is h by 3. Since x is equal to 6, that is, this base is 6, b is equal to 6, then x is equal to 60 by 3. Y is 45, the height is 45, then 45 by 3 will be the centroid of that figure. So if we see this figure, if it is 45 and 60, the centroid is lying at 20 and 15. That is, in x direction, the centroid lies at a point 20 from x and 15 from y. That is, from origin, the x distance is 20 and y distance is 15. That is the centroidal distance of a right angle triangle. Similarly, if we consider an isosceles triangle whose base is 20 and height is 1, whose base is 200 and height is 120. The base length is 200 mm and height is 120 mm. Let us suppose. So we know this axis, some axis which is parallel to y, that is, that axis is cutting this 200 into two equal parts, because it is isosceles triangle. This angle and this angle are same. So therefore, if the height is same, then automatically they are two identical triangles. Therefore, they are equal. So hence we can say this line of x bar will lie on this symmetrical axis, that is 200 by 2. So, for isosceles triangle, on base x-axis has symmetrical axis parallel to y-axis. That is, there is some symmetrical axis which is dividing the triangle into two equal halves. Therefore, the x bar will lie on the vertical symmetrical axis. Therefore, it is x bar is equal to b by 2, and y bar is equal to, as we know, for triangle it is h by 3 when the base is parallel to the axis. Therefore, it is 200 by 2 and 120 by 3. Therefore, it is 200 by 2 is 100 and h by 3 is 120 by 3, 40. Therefore, if we see look at the centroid, this figure, we will find out that this centroid lies at 100 from origin in x direction and 40 in y direction. That is, total height is 120. It lies at 1/3 from the base. That is, therefore, it is 120 by 3, that is 40. Similarly, in the x direction, it is at a distance of 100. Therefore, we can say that in case of a triangle which is symmetrical about y-axis and it has a base on x-axis, then the CG will be at b by 2 and h by 3. In case of right angle triangle, because both it has two axes parallel to x-axis and y-axis, then we will have the centroid at b by 3 and h by 3. In this case, it is b by 2 and h by 3. Now, let us take one example to demonstrate the centroid of an area which is having a combination of some rectangle and also a triangle. It can be solved in two ways. As we discussed earlier, it can be divided into two parts and added, or we can take a big rectangle and we can remove some triangle so that we get this shape. It can be done as a1x plus a1x1 plus a2x2, or a1x1 minus a2x2. Well, if we consider total area as a1, the entire outer line, and remove the small part a2, then it will be the area should be removed. That is, the moment of area should be removed. Therefore, a1x1 will be positive, a2x2 will be negative. Similarly, areas also, the entire area, if we consider 100 into 60 as full rectangle, so 100 into 60 will be one area, minus half into this area will be, the outside area will be half into 60 into 60. That is, this triangle has the height of 60 and width of 60. That means the triangle is isosceles triangle, isosceles right angle triangle. That means the half which is remaining is equal to the half which can be removed in a square. So if we consider this as a square of 60 by 60 and remove this piece of half into 60 into 60, then also we can get two diagrams. That is, one rectangle of 60 into 100 minus a triangle of half into 60 into 60. That can be done, but here I am taking only for the sake of, anyhow we are used to do it by adding. Sigma is adding the areas. That is why I have divided this trapezium into two parts. That is, the first part as rectangle, the second part as a triangle. We are adding because these two are components which are making the figure. So I have divided the rectangle of 40 into 60 and a triangle of 60 into 60, 60 base and 60 height. Therefore, let us tabulate the values. Here the area of the first area is 40 into 60 rectangle. Therefore, it is 40 into 60, 2400 square millimeters. Similarly, the second area is half into 60 into 30, half into 60 into 60. Therefore, it is 30 into 60, 1800 square millimeters. Then let us see x bar. X bar of this 40 by 60, this rectangle will lie on this axis, which is symmetrical vertical axis. That is, the vertical axis divides 40 into two equal halves, that is 20 and 20. Therefore, x bar will be 40 by 2. X bar is 40 by 2 of the rectangle area. Similarly, for x bar of this triangle, it is 1/3 from this base. That is, it is b by 3 from the base. So b by 3 is 60 by 3, that is 20. So therefore, from the corner it will be 40 plus 60 by 3. Therefore, here if you see, this x bar of the triangle is 40 plus 60 by 3, that is 60 from the origin, that is somewhere here, that is 40 plus here it is lying. This is the x bar of this triangle. Similarly, if we take the y direction, because both figures are lying on x-axis, both have y from the starting from x-axis. Therefore, this y of rectangle will be h by 2 or d by 2, whatever it is, d or h, whatever we can use. So it is d by 2. So here it is 60, the total depth is 60, therefore it is 60 by 2. Y of first figure will be 60 by 2, 30. Similarly, y of second figure will be equal to, the second figure is having base on 60, therefore from the base it is h by 3, that is h is 60, therefore 60 by 3 will be equal to 20. This is 20. Individual x bars and y bars are, for the rectangles the x bar and y bar will be 20 and 30. For second figure it will be 60 and 20. Again I am reminding you, the x bar and y bar of the second figure is far away from the origin. That is, we have to cross the rectangle to reach the triangle in horizontal direction. That is why while writing the x bar of the triangle, we have taken 40 plus 60 by 3. For y bar, this triangle is lying on x-axis itself. So therefore, there is not straight away, without crossing any other figure, we have to just cross that 1/3 distance to reach the centroid of the triangle. Therefore, it is 60 by 3. There is no other things to add up. So we can take This is 2400, this is 1800 area, this is 20, and 30 are the x bar and y bar of the rectangle, and 60 and 20 are the x bar and y bar of the triangle. Therefore, if we find out the moment of area in x direction, that is moment of areas ax in x direction, that will be equal to 2400 into 20, that is 48,000 mm cube. You know, that is moment of area is area into distance. Area units are mm squares, and distance units are mm. Therefore, mm square into mm, it should give you mm cube. So moment of areas will be mm cube, that is 2400 into 20, 48,000 mm cube. Similarly, Ay will be 2400 into 30, that is 72,000. Similarly, if we take the first area is 1800, that is half into 60 into 60 is the area of the triangle. Then 1800 into 60, that is 108,000 is ax, that is moment of area in x direction, and ay, the moment of area in y direction, will be equal to 1800 into 20, that is 36,000. If we add these two figures, then we will get 48,000 plus 108,000, that is 156,000. Similarly, 72,000 plus 36,000 is 108,000. So x bar is equal to sigma ax by sigma a. Therefore, 156,000 by 4200. The areas will be 156,000 by 4200, that is 37.14. The centroid in x direction for this composite figure is 37.14, and also y bar is equal to 10800 by 4200, that is 108 by 42, 108,000 by 4200, that is 25.71. So these are the centroidal distances from origin. That is origin, I am taking it as from the left bottom corner. There is no rule that we have to find from the left corner only, because it is usual, or it is, we follow that that notation that we move right and up. That is why I am taking the origin as origin and putting my figure in the first quadrant, so that my x-axis is towards right and y-axis is upwards. That is why I am finding it the centroid at 37.14 and 25.71. This is how we find the centroid of a combination of rectangle and triangle. So here we have seen that we have taken two different. Luckily, our triangle is a right angle isosceles triangle. Even then, if it is not isosceles triangle, it is not a big deal. If it is right angle triangle, then we will get the centroid of the triangle h by 3 and b by 3 and h by 3 from the base. Suppose sometimes we need to find the centroids from the apex. Then if from the base it is 2h by 3, from apex it should be 2h by 3. So that we should remember. Many times the students commit mistake when when they come across a right angle triangle, they simply put h by 3 and b by 3. But h by 3 and b by 3 should be considered from the basis, not from the apices. Okay, so we have to consider the distance from each apex to the centroid if we are considering from apex. So it will be 2h by 3, not h by 3. And similarly, it is not b by 3, it would be 2b by 3 when we consider from this end. Suppose if I measure from this end, it will be 40 from this end. from the base, if it is 20, from the apex it should be 40, because it is totally 60. That is 2h by 2b by 3. 2b by 3 is 2 into 60 by 3, that is 120 by 3 will be 40. Similarly, if I consider from the top, this centroidal distance of the triangle, I am only speaking about the triangle, or rather I will go to this problem. Here the centroidal distance from the base, that is the vertical axis, is 20. So from this apex it will be 40. Similarly, from base it is 15. So if I consider the apex at the top, then it will be 30. That is 2h by 3. 2h by 3 is 2 into 45 by 3, that is 30. If it is from here, it is 2b by 3, that is 2 into 60 by 3, 120 by 3 will be 40. So if one side from the base it is 20, from apex it should be 40. That is, if it is the total distance being 60, if one part is h by 3, the other part should be 2h by 3. If one part is b by 3, the other part should be 2b by 3. Now, as I said, instead of adding these figures, let us suppose this entire rectangle is area 1, and this triangle which is not there, which should be removed, is area 2. If we do it on the other way, what would be the results? Let us just check it out. Now the area of this rectangle is 60 into 100. Instead of 40 into 60, it is 60 into, or 100 into 60. This will become 100 into 60. That is 6000 is the area, 60,000 is the area. 100 into 60, 60 hundreds, that is 6000 is the area. And for this big rectangle, the centroid is at 100 by 2, that is 50. This will be 100 by 2. Then y bar will be equal to, anyhow it will be 60 by 2. This is for the rectangle. So if you multiply, if you want ax bar, that is 60,000 into 50, 6,000 into 50, that is 3 lakhs. $6,000 is into 5 is 30,000, into 50 is 3 lakhs. Similarly, y bar will be equal to 60,000 into 6,000 into 30, that is 1,80,000. 16 3 is 18, 1,80,000 is the ax bar of this ay. If we consider the h bar, that is the centroidal distance from here that is from this base, or from this base it is, from base it is b by 3, that is 20 by 3, but from apex it is 40. Therefore the x bar will be 40 plus 2h by 2b by 3, 40 plus 2b by 3, that is 2b is 120 by 3, that will be 80. Here if we look at the figure, this will be, this centroid of this outside figure is somewhere here, that is 20 from base, so from here it is 40 and another 40 is for the rectangle, so it is 80 by 3. 120 by 3 plus 40 is 80. Similarly this h bar is from this axis it is 20, so from here to here it should be lying somewhere here, so it should be 2h by 3, that is 120 by 3 it is 40. Therefore if we multiply, that is 6000 into 50, we have 3 lakhs. 6000 into 30, 1,80,000. Similarly the area is half into 60 into 60, this distance is 18 into 8, 18 into 80, that is 1000, 80 it's 64, 6, 144. 144,000. This is 18 into 80 is 144,000. Similarly 1800 into 40 will be 72,000. Then the total area will be, this area is negative because it is not there. We have to remove that area. So 6,000 minus 18,000 will be, the area will be 42,000. Anyhow, it is total area minus that outer portion, that is total area 6,000 minus 18,000 is 42,000. Anyhow, the area will remain same. Then we have to find the total, that is 3 lakhs plus 144, that is 4 lakhs 44,000. 4,44,000. Is it correct? 18,000, 64, 4. Sorry, correct. It is correct. And also 18 into 4, 72. 72. This is 30. This is minus area. So we have to remove from 3 lakhs 144,000. 3 lakhs minus 144 is 156,000. Similarly, from 180, if you remove 72,000, it should be 108. Same. So if we see the result here, this is same result we got, that is 156,000, 156,000 by 4200 and 108,000 by 4200, that is 37.14 and 25.71. Whether you add or subtract, here in this case we have subtracted this portion, that is second figure, from the entire figure. Then also our centroid is 37.14, that is 156,000 by 4200, and also here 108,000 by 4200, that is 25.71. So in any case, either you add or minus. Here sigma AY is, sigma AX is ax minus ax1 a1 x1 minus a2 x2. Similarly, sigma ay is equal to a1 y1 minus a2 y2. That is why 180,000 minus 72,000 we have done. Here it is 3 lakhs minus 144,000. That is 156,000. Here also 1,80,000 minus 72,000, 108,000. Therefore, we get the same result, that is 156,000 by 4200 and 108,000 by 4200. That is 37.14, 25.14. So this shows that depending upon our ability or our interest or how we divide the entire entire area into components, regular components, that is how we can solve in different ways. That is, here in the first case we have added a rectangle and a triangle, a small rectangle and a triangle. In the second case we have taken entire area enclosing the rectangle and triangle as full rectangle, a big rectangle, and we have removed a portion of triangle or a triangle from it. So from the entire area of 6,000 we have removed 1,800. In the first case we have added 2,400 and 1,800. That is two triangles with a small rectangle, and we added the triangle. Here in the second case we have taken a big rectangle and removed a triangle from it. So the figure is same. Whether you add you divide into two parts and add them, or you take a big part and remove a smaller part, then also we have two parts, but area being same. That is, it is in both cases the area is 4,200, the ax bar is 15600, ay bar is 10800, 108,000 I mean. So 1,08,000, 1,56,000. So dividing by sigma x by sigma a, 156,000 by 4,200 gave us 37.14. Similarly, same. So the problem, depending on our convenience, we can add them or we can remove some components to get the same final figure. That condition is we should get the same area. The area cannot change, because finally our body has only one area. We cannot have two areas. So the area, whether you take it, divide the area into many parts and add them, or you take a big area and remove some parts and finally make the body as before, then we can do in any way. Either the sigma ax can be a1 x1 minus a2 x2 or a1 x1 plus a2 x2, depending upon how you have divided the body. Okay, so this is how we solve the problems with our using the triangles. Once again, let me revise the thing which we have done today. We have taken earlier, we have dealt the problems with only rectangles. Now we have included the triangle also. That is, for triangle we have, depending upon the shape of the triangle, the centroidal distance will be located. For trapezoid or any triangle without any that is any random triangle, if we take, b by 3 and h by 3 cannot be found out. Suppose the triangle is not parallel to x-axis or y-axis, then the centroidal distance cannot be found out. We have to divide it into several parts and we have to do it, but we don't have any ready-made formula. Suppose the triangle is resting on some base, then its centroid will be at the distance of h by 3. If the triangle is also having some base parallel to another axis, that is another y-axis, then it will have, then the triangle should be a right angle triangle, then centroid will be h by 3 and b by 3 and h by 3. That is 1/3 of the base, 1/3 of the height, if it is a right angle triangle. If it is an isosceles triangle standing on its base, the horizontal, there is one axis of symmetry which is dividing the triangle, isosceles triangle. So that axis will make two two isosceles right angle triangles. Therefore, the x-axis lies on the centroid in x direction lies on the symmetrical axis, which is dividing the triangle into equal halves. Therefore, the centroid in x direction will be b by 2, while h by 3 will be the centroid in y direction. So that is the case of triangles. Three possibilities are there. That is some haphazard triangle which is resting on the base, triangle which is resting on the base and isosceles, triangle which is resting on the base, and right angle triangle. Then in these depending upon the cases we cannot find centroid. We don't have a ready-made formula for that haphazard triangles. For triangle which is on the base, h by 3 is known, but b by 3 is unknown. If it is right angle triangle, if it is a isosceles triangle resting on the base, then the vertical axis divides into equal halves. So the centroid lies at b by 2 and h by 3. If it is a right angle triangle, then it will be b by 3 and h by 3. And also for right angle triangle, the centroid lies at b by 3 and h by 3 from their bases. So if we consider from apexes, then we have to consider from apex. Therefore, it is 2b by 3 and 2h by 3. It is not b by 3 and h by 3. b by 3 and h by 3 from the base and from the right angle, that is the side which is vertical. From that we are measuring the distance of centroid as b by 3. From the corner or from the vertex, if we find out, it will be 2b by 3. Similarly, from the top vertex, it will be 2h by 3. From base, it will be h by 3. So this we have to keep it in mind when we solve the problem. That is, whether the triangle is having base from left or right. If it is from the base is from right, if we are measuring from left, then we have to measure from the vertex. Therefore, it is 2b by 3. Similarly, if we are measuring from base which is parallel to x-axis from bottom, then it will be b by 3. If we are measuring from the apex, then it will be h by 3 and 2h by 3. This is how we have to determine the centroid of a triangle. So in the next class, we will be taking the centroids of circles and quadrants. There, since you know a circle is a symmetrical figure, so the centroid lies at its center. Similarly, for semicircle also, at one axis it is symmetrical, on the other axis we have to find out. That formula we will deal in the next class. We are not going to derive that formula, but we will simply learn the formula that the x bar is for semicircle. If it is standing on x-axis, the x bar will be r or d by 2, half of the diameter. That is, since it cuts the semicircle into two quadrants, that is r d by 2. Let us say r, and the next height will be 4r by 3 pi. That is, y bar will be 4r by 3 pi. For a quadrant, it will be, the centroid will be from 4r by 3 pi from vertical axis, also from horizontal axis it is 4r by 3 pi. Therefore, x will be 4r by 3 pi, y will be 4r by 3 pi. That we will be doing in the next session. Till then, thank you for being with me.